Hey Libras, welcome to your Aquarius season reading, where we will take a peek and see how you can embrace your individuality in an area of your life over the next few weeks. Starting off with the energy that's surrounding this reading, the first card that we have out for you, ooh, new life. All right, we'll set that there and let's pull another and see what other energies are surrounding my Libra collective for their Aquarius season reading. And we have the Temple Path. All right, Libras. So what it looks like is that you have been on a journey. And this journey is leading you to an existence that is definitely different from the one that you have now. But it feels like something that's been divinely guided for you. When we think about temples, they are a very sacred space, right? And the journey getting there is something that's individual for all of us. And so I think that over the past, for a lot of my Libras out there, few months or even a few years, you have been on sort of this journey of self, where you have been figuring out how to get to your own individual sacred space in life. And this journey is continuing, but it feels like you are on absolutely the right path, even if it doesn't feel like it sometimes. But there is a new life that's waiting for you. There is something that is awakening throughout this time period, throughout Aquarius season, where you are going to sort of fully embrace who you are, and you are going to start living life absolutely unapologetically, because this is what's important to you. This is what's sacred to you, these next steps. So let's get into some tarot, because I'm a little bit excited to see what other messages come out for you. We're going to start first by taking a peek at the overall vibe for Aquarius season for you guys. How are we going to describe Aquarius season for my Libra collective? We have two that came out for you. I love this. We have the Six of Swords and the Three of Swords. So the Three of Swords, we'll start here, represents heartbreak, disappointment, especially when it comes to your relationships with other people, and more specifically romantic relationships. So I don't usually set out to do these readings for, love and romance and all of that, unless it's specifically for that. But I think with this, Libra, you've been through some heartbreaks. You have been through some disappointments, F boys, F girls, all of that. And I think that you've taken a beat. And so now it feels as though you have spent enough time doing introspection, analyzing, probably within an inch of its life, any situation that you've been in, and you've sort of decided, yeah, it's time to go forward. There's a lot more to look forward to in life, where I experienced all of this chaos and drama in the past and had to deal with all of these people who didn't have my best interest at heart. And if I'm being honest with you, Libra, sometimes you didn't have your own best interest at heart either. Always the peacemaker, always the diplomat, trying to make sure that everybody's good except for yourself. And so I think that throughout the Aquarius season, you are absolutely coming out of that energy. And it's like, all right, the past is a past. It happened. I've dealt with it. What's next? Like, I'm looking forward to what's next. It's time to get to my happy place. So what can you best do to explore this energy of individuality and happiness? So we have two that came out. We have the Magician in reverse, and we have the Hanged Man in reverse. So the Magician is, when it's upright, is about someone who has all of the tools that they need. But it can also be a very manipulative energy. It can represent someone who feels the need to have control over everything at all times. And I think that you are sort of letting things flow. And with the Hanged Man in reverse, it can always represent someone who is sort of stuck where they are, right? They can't make a decision. They don't want to go backwards, but they don't want to go forward. So they're just sort of hanging there in limbo. And I think that at this point, Libras, you have made up your mind. You have seen things from a different perspective. You have seen things in a different light, and you are ready to go. And it's not like, oh, I have to do this. I have to move this piece here. I have to move this piece there. You're just like, you know what? I have spent massive amounts of time trying to figure out other people, trying to abide by the path that they have set for me. I'm going to flow now. I am going to go at my own pace. I'm going to go at my own rhythm, and I'm going to see where this road takes me. So it really feels like a sense of adventure. Like you don't necessarily know what's ahead of you, but you're okay with that. You're willing and ready to see where this path leads you. And I think that for a lot of you, you've gotten to the point now where you trust your intuition a lot more than you may have in the past. Because I think for a lot of my Libras out there, that whatever situations that you were in, particularly when it comes to relationships, that once you were in it, your spidey senses started tingling, they got to pop locking, and you were like, nope, I'm not going to listen. Spidey senses don't mean anything. And everything blew up. Everything just kind of exploded. And at the end of it, you're like, where did that come from? Meanwhile, back at the ranch, your higher self is looking at you with their eyebrow raised like, bruh, I tried to tell you. I really tried to tell you, and you ignored everything. And so I think that now you've gotten to a point where you trust yourself more. Where if your intuition tells you that something ain't right, like something's not clean in the buttermilk, okay, we're going to go ahead and toss that out. So that's a good thing, Libra. Congratulations, you have learned your life lesson, so hopefully you will not have to repeat it. Now, an expectation from others that you may have to set aside. Okay, we are starting with the Knight of Pentacles. So I'm pretty sure Gemini got the Knight of Pentacles in their reading too. I can't remember if it was in the same place, but nonetheless, the Knight of Pentacles, when it's upright, is one of the slowest moving knights in the deck. I mean, so slow that sometimes it's like, damn, are you going backwards? Because we don't see any progress here. But it's very intentional. It's very deliberate. And when the Knight of Pentacles does come in, it is very long lasting. It is absolutely long lasting. And so I think that when it comes to other people's expectations of you, they almost think that you are going to sort of just roll with whatever, right? That you are just going to keep it pushing, status quo, without any thoughtfulness, without any regard to longer term stability, because we may have acted on emotions a little bit in the past and not necessarily involving your minds, your mentals, your thoughtfulness. We have that clarified by judgment. And so this is about making a decision, making a final determination. And I feel like for a lot of people, Libra, because you always did seem so stable and, you know, sort of level-headed, but not really, if that makes any sense. It's like on the outside, yes, everything looked together. Internally, there seemed to be a lot of turmoil that you were experiencing. So I think the expectation from other people is that you're not going to move forward. You're not going to rush ahead. You're not going to necessarily be super decisive, that you're going to acquiesce to what everybody wants, right? That you're not going to be able to make decisions for yourself, that you're not going to be able to move forward. And I think that, Libra, you are going to prove them wrong. And I think that a lot of people are going to be a little bit irritated by that. I think that they're going to look at you like, well, what is Libra doing? What is Libra on right now? And that's okay. It's not their journey. They're not on your temple path. You are. So if you have any doubts about moving forward or being decisive in the steps that you take going forward, understand that that's your higher self talking to you. And it's the path that you were meant to be on. So how you can stay true to yourself in this season. So this is interesting. We have Justice in reverse, clarified by the Three of Pentacles in reverse. Now, I don't want you to sort of think that things are going to be unfair and that, you're going to be alone for the foreseeable future. That's not the case at all. What I'm feeling is that there's going to be a slow building of this new life. And it's going to be something that's much more balanced, but it's going to take a little bit of time for you. All of these lessons that you have learned, it's almost like you sticking your toe back in the water, especially when it comes to relationships. So there's still going to be a bit of sorting out for you to do, but I think that you're going to have to sort of keep an open mind about the new people and new experiences that come into your life. I do think that some of them are going to be a little bit off the beaten path than what you have gotten accustomed to, that you're going to have sort of different experiences that have you feeling a little bit off balance. And it's like, what is this where I'm supposed to be? But you're going to have to listen to your intuition on this one. And let me be perfectly clear, I don't feel any bad vibes coming through this for you. So as you sort of get out there and meet more people and start cultivating this new life, Libra, just be open. Just be open, because it might not come in the form that you expected. So what does your inner voice want you to know throughout Aquarius season? We're starting out with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So the Wheel of Fortune, when it's upright, is really about fate. It's about the ebbs and flows of life. It's about the changing tides and everything sort of going in cycles. So where you may have experienced a cycle where it was just like bullshit after bullshit after bullshit that you've encountered, coming into this new life, into this peaceful period away from the disappointment and heartbreak that you've incurred because of other people, this is going to be stable for a while for you. It's going to feel a little bit uncertain just because you haven't been in this place before, because you are starting a new chapter, a new life. It's going to feel a little bit different, but the energy is much more stable than what it was for you before. And we have that clarified by the Devil in reverse. So the Devil is about bad habits, bad life choices, addictions that we may have been battling. And so having that in reverse, it feels as though Spirit is saying, do not go back to how you were operating before. You can't expect to go into a new life with the same behavior or the same habits that you were hanging on to. And especially for those of you in relationships where there may have been some element of codependency, where you may have sort of stifled yourself from speaking up. And Gemini got a lot of this same vibe, I think, in their reading as well. Healing from past hurts and moving on in a way that's much smarter. So you creating this new life and realizing that you have more control over it than you actually do. But just sort of being easy, letting things flow. Now, another message from Spirit that we have, embrace your power. So for my Libras out there, I think that there have been times where you sort of gave up your power to other people, especially in the context of relationships. And that's not necessarily your fault. There are a lot of relationships out there that the changes are so insidious that you can't feel them happening at the time, but you look, over months or years and you kind of look back and like, who the hell have I become? Like, who is this person? Like, you look in the mirror and you don't necessarily recognize yourself, but you stop to think and it's like, man, 10 years ago, I'd have never been doing this. I'd have never accepted this. And so I feel like Spirit is reminding you that you do not have to give up your own personal power. You do not have to change who you are. Certainly there's compromise, involved in every aspect of relationships, but compromise should be, maybe I'll only go out with friends twice a week as opposed to every single night of the week. That's the type of compromise that you're looking for. Not, I don't ever go out with my friends. I have to wear, baggy clothes and I can't wear my hair in a certain style. That's not compromise, that's control. So I feel like Spirit is saying that moving forward, especially if you're looking at relationships, then now is the time for you to really embrace your personal power. Make sure that you stay on your temple path, that you hold things sacred to you, close to you, and you do not give them up. That's going to be a fundamental element of starting your new life. So that's what I got for my Libras out there. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one.